Yeah. Yeah. No, just tell him no, okay? That's it. Good afternoon, and welcome to the Working Girls Boardroom with me, Little Boots. I'd like to start off today by saying thank you to everybody who submitted their questions, and I'd like to take this opportunity to answer them personally, face to face, over this conference call. So let's get this party started. Let's begin with @Cal_196. He says, Little Boots, your colleagues are coming over for Come Dine With Me dinner. Great program. What 3-course menu would you cook? Well, it's a good question. I mean, working girls rarely have time to cook. So I would say possibly order takeaway. Maybe a little bit of sushi, you know. I like to keep it healthy and fresh and a little bit Japanese. I'm always a fan. Or possibly, if I were to cook, being a Lancashire girl, I could make a classic Lancashire hot pot, which, if you don't know, is meat and potatoes, and more meat, and more potatoes, and more meat and more potatoes, and maybe some pastry on top just to really secure the carbicide. So there you go. Feel free to come down and have dinner with me anytime, Cal196. @Nina Brighton says, Little Boots, how do you wind down after a day at work? It's a good question. I mean, personally, I'm not very into winding down these days. I like to work as much, as long, and as hard as possible. But if I was to wind down, I wasn't doing something like going to the gym, a little bit of boxing, get that aggression out, or maybe some yoga lattes. Possibly a bath, put Enya on, one of my favourite artists, and maybe some scented candles and just zen. Helio E. Campos on Facebook asks, Little Boots, how do you feel about casual Fridays? It's a very good question, Helio. I mean, as you can see, it is Friday, and for me, this is fairly casual, no shirt collar. I'm actually wearing slippers right now, not heels if I'm completely honest. But in general, I think whatever helps you get your work done, I think that's how you should dress. So casual, smart. For me, I think business casual. It's always a good compromise, good middle ground. Okay, @Little Boots Argentina. Hello, how are you? Who runs a fantastic fan club called Little Boots Argentina, all the way from Buenos Aires. Where we've played a few times and had an amazing time. But he asks, Little Boots, what song do you wish you'd written? This is a tough question. I mean, Britney Toxic has got to be up there. Kylie Slow, Kylie Confide in Me. So many choices. I think I'm going to have to go with one of my favourite songs of all time, which is ABBA, The Day Before You Came. It's just the most beautiful, sad piece of pop perfection, and it gets me every time. It's just beautiful and haunting, and if I could have written a song like that, I think I would die happy. So go check that out. Simon, could we get some coffee in here, please? Thank you. Nick Atkinson asks, when will the vinyl pressings be available? Smile emoticon. Might they be the shape or picture of a cog? Interesting question, Nick. I can't deny or confirm the shape or cogness of the vinyl at this moment in time, but it will be round in shape, and it will be announced next week with more details for you. But I think it's one of my favourite vinyl artwork products we've ever made. It looks beautiful. There's going to be black and white vinyl. Yeah. How many entries? Yeah. Okay. Sell now. Just sell it all. Okay. I'm sure. @Jolt says, Little Boots, what awesome working girl profession would you be if you weren't a musician? I'm probably a CEO, I would hope, Of what? I'm not so sure. I don't really mind. As long as I'm in charge, I'm happy. Okay, so moving swiftly on. At MIDI Error, obviously a man after my own heart, says, Little Boots, you could build your ultimate synth using parts from the currently existing ones. What do you choose? I mean, this is a very difficult question, obviously. I'm sure MIDI Error understands how hard this is to answer for any synth enthusiast. Off the top of my head, I'm going to go for the blue Roland SH101 with mod grip, so I can run around with it. And the blue one's kind of rare. I got one stolen once, never replaced. Very upsetting, as you can imagine. So maybe SH101, the blue mod grip version, with some kind of mini move built in, Pro One, bit of chord poly 6 maybe, always has a special place in my heart. Maybe with the Casio SK1 sampler built in, that could be nice. Yeah, I think that's off the top of my head, that'd be pretty good. I guess we'll probably have to put a little Tenorian in there just for a nod to the old days. That'd be a pretty mega synth though. So I hope that answers your question. Justin Fernandez says, Petitas, thank you for the amazing music. You're welcome. What's the most repeated song on your iPod now? As you can see, my iPod hasn't quite got music capabilities yet, sadly. So I have to just stick to my Walkman. But on my Walkman, the most repeated song right now is anything from my new album, Working Girl, because I've just been listening to the mixes to approve them. So I've just got my own music on my Walkman. Salvatry. At Circuit 3 Music says, Little Boots, oak panelled office walls or minimal grey? What a decision. I mean, it's hard because grey is classic, it means business, but oak panelled has got that kind of slightly luxury, more old school feel. As you can see right now, we've gone for a more modern glass office approach, just sheerly because we're on top of a skyscraper, so that's the walls you're mainly given to work with. But I think in the future I'd love to see more oak panelling on repeater quarters. Vladimir Dabrowski again asks, where is your Tenorian? I just terribly miss it. And will you record any bedroom videos in the future? I mean, as you can see, we've moved from the bedroom to the boardroom these days, so I'm not sure how relevant that would be anymore. A lot of people ask me about those old YouTube videos, and I think at the time where I was in my career just starting out, they really connected with a lot of people and made a lot of sense. But I think now it's a very different time and place, and you know, everybody's doing covers on YouTube, and it feels like I've moved on from that, and so I'm not really sure how relevant it feels. And I guess with the Tenorian, that was something that I became very known for. But it's fun to experiment, find new gadgets, new instruments. So much as I love that little guy, I think it's fun to explore new technology and new instruments and find new things. Okay, last question here from @Timothy Daniel says, what inspired the idea of mixing business with passion for the new album and sound? Well, business and pleasure, two of my favourite pastimes, as you can tell. I think it really came from loving my work and working on something that I love. There's not really a line where business and pleasure stops with me. I'm always working, but I'm always loving it. It never feels like work. So I guess it's that thing of doing what you love, but also that thing having to be able to make you a career and a business, like enable you to survive. The music industry is very tough at the minute, and you know, you can't have one without the other. You can't just make music you like and it not be a business, because when you're an independent label, an artist like me, it doesn't make sense. So yeah, I just thought actually this is an interesting place to explore the balance between these two things, which I think everybody has to figure out how they're going to balance business and pleasure in their lives, and where one stops and where the other one starts. So originally I was going to do 2 EPs, one was called Business and one was called Pleasure, and then that ended up being 1 EP, and so I developed the themes into the album Working Girl. So yeah, I hope that answers your question.